What is the maximum megapops that you can get when you reach the end of round 140? 23 megapops to be exact, and today we're going to be doing this with the Pirate Lord. Done this in the past with the anti-balloon on Resort, but let's see if we can do this on logs with the Pirate Lord. Not only are we going to be getting all 23 megapops, not less than that, but we're also going to be trying getting every single pop possible throughout the entire game. If you place Geraldo down over here, it means that Geraldo will not be able to attack any balloons whatsoever. But we do need to be careful because I do also want to place down the Ultra Boost Engineer over here as well. Well, eventually it'll be Ultra Boost, not right from when spawning. A 430 monkey money Ultra Boost, yep. Yeah, I don't see that one passing through rules and schematics. The schematics are the basic bitch-ass engineer monkey 000. Oh dear, I don't know where I was going with that bit of dialogue there. Anyways, Geraldo is at level 3, invisibility potion. We're going to be relying on that for the early game to get us through the 20s and the 30s. But when it comes to the 40s, we'll have our radar scanner up and running. Grave Shot. This upgrade should honestly get a rename because double shot is not accurate towards what it can do. It used to be able to have twice the projectiles, but now it's only like 50% increase, so it's not exactly what you call double shot. It's like a 1.5 shot, but that wouldn't make sense as a name for the upgrade. Like that fuse. Invisibility potion. We could put spikes at the end of the track, but then it wouldn't be all pops. It would be all pops a size 3 because I couldn't be bothered to put down an invisibility potion for round 24. Things are going swimmingly well so far, but after all, it is the middle path Buccaneer. Why wouldn't things be going so well? It is one of the most diverse towers that there are out there, and also has a means of being able to have multiple weaknesses as well. Its cannons are weak to black balloons, its grapes are weak to purples, and its darts are weak to lead, so therefore has multiple weaknesses, but it always has another projectile type to cover for those other weaknesses, such as if it can't pop leads with the darts, then it has the grapes and the cannons. If it can't pop the blacks with the cannons, then it can pop them with the darts or the grapes, and if it can't pop purples with the grapes, then you get the gist. All I'm hoping is that you are in far enough, Engineer, so that you cannot see the balloons whatsoever. I'm hoping any day now. Fine, this will just have to do. Just hope that's far in enough so that the Engineer doesn't start attacking balloons. I'm worried about any potential bads that are going to be over this area. I'm looking at you round 140. Hook that in, and that is where we are with that. No need to pop it if we can just instantly kill it. So I'm going to be setting up 3 of these for some reduction in costs for both the villagers themselves and glue gunners much later on. I do want to get an Ultra Boost first before setting down any glues whatsoever, because I want to set up those Ultra Boost stacks as early as possible. However, before we can do that, one of these needs to be an MIB. I just want to get this as bottom right there as possible. There we go. Now all 3 of these are here, which means some of our glue gunners will receive all 3 discounts alongside the primary mentoring as well, which is very important. So which one am I going to upgrade to? Yeah, we'll do a year actually. This one will be our primary mentoring one, and this one's going to be call to arms. So homeland defense, call to arms, primary mentoring. That's how we are going to go about this adventure. Also, we don't need any more invisibility potions to see camo balloons, but we do need to be upgraded ones so that we have more range, which means we'll be able to reach left and right over here easier. But you could go down bottom path, but then you wouldn't be able to shoot as fast, and you won't be able to fire more projectiles. Which is why, for aggressiveness, the top path is always more viable when it comes to the Pirate Lord. Hook that one in, pop these ones, and then hopefully we'll get the hook ability back in time for the second MOAB of the round. And not quite there, but we'll pop it. We'll use it on another MOAB, don't you worry. Just remember, no shooty turrets, no stack of old nails, no bottles of Jerry's fire on anything else that is not the Pirate Lord soon to be. And obviously, no genie bottles down here. Nothing when it comes to external pops from our Buccaneer here. It's absolutely pivotal towards our success for an all pops round 140 Pirate Lord. We now have our Pirate Lord set up and running, but our setup is far from over. Overclock next, and then I'm going to think about MIB so that when it comes to round 90, all of our projectiles can damage the DDTs, and not just the grapes that fires out of it, because I believe the only projectile that can damage DDTs when it comes to middle path Buccaneers are the grapes that it fires out of. And the grapes are not exactly what you call the most powerful projectile that it shoots out. No, those are the cannons. But because DDTs have the black property, the cannons won't do jack against them. So that's why the MIB is an absolute necessity. Also alongside that, we're going to go with Homeland Defense anyway. So it's kind of on our path anyways. Our path to greatness. Round 63, usually quite a big issue, but for the ceramics, it is a big issue for them. I didn't say who it was a big issue for, but now I'm specifying that it is a big issue for these ceramics. They all think that being all clumped up will protect them. Nah, it will only serve to further your demise, as my cannons will pierce more of you as you are clumped up together rather than spaced out. Upgrade this and immediately put the foam up there. I do not want any leads come into contact with the foam, otherwise the foam will pop the leads and that will be GG for us. Back to the drawing board, back to round 67 minus the 7 part. Speaking of leads, and speaking of a round number, nice. Anyways, you like your TED Talks from me? I'll give you another TED Talk. Don't you worry about it. Today's topic of discussion is going to be about weather. Not like whether or not you like it or not is up to debate. Weather as in, you look outside your curtains. Yes, you do have curtains and you can pull them out, you gamers. So, weather. What is your favorite weather and what is your least favorite weather, or your most hated weather? When I was a kid, I always loved the snow, but as I've gotten older and now that I have a job, I don't like snow nowadays because I've got to actually get from A to B to get to work, and snow, regardless of how you get to work, is such a hindrance towards how you go about things. So let's say if you go by car, there's a big hindrance to that because not all cars are adept at driving on harsh conditions such as snow, ice, sleet. Black ice is one of the worst, and slippery leaves as well, they can be a hindrance too. So put all that together and you got yourself a very rough time when trying to drive. What else is there? Trains, obviously you gotta walk to the train station. Sometimes trains are cancelled. In the UK, the slightest bit of snow ensues chaos, rather than, let's say, if you're a Scandinavian country like Norway, Sweden and Finland. Yes, America, there are countries outside of yourself, Canada, Mexico and the moon. There are other parts of the world. I'm not saying that Americans don't know geography, but just from stereotypical conversations on the internet, it is a little bit of a, not of a fact, but an observation that a lot of Americans don't know places outside of America itself, or any of their neighbors, or what they see up in the sky. So that's why I said itself, Canada, Mexico, and the moon. Because they can look up in the sky and see the moon, but then they look north, you get Canada, and you look south, you get Mexico. And then there are other faraway lands which are mythical. There's this one called China, and then there's another place called Europe, which has several different countries in it, and not all of them get along very well. Anyways, we've got ourselves an overclock here, which I've forgotten to upgrade. I was more concentrated about the foam, not hitting the track here and there. Let's just use the pirate hooks there. It's lovely they can now hook in, like, ZOMGs. It takes 2 of its 3 hooks, so it's best to use in, let's say, a ZOMG only round where you partially pop the ZOMG so you get it down to a BFB, and then you hook in both a ZOMG and a BFB. Let's just speed up the round because ZOMGs can make rounds go on for very long because of their travel speed. I'm looking at you, Bloon Crush. But what's the other one that takes a long amount of time for popping ZOMGs, like particularly the Fortified one? It's not the Bloon Crush, it's another tower that takes just as long. And I'm not talking about stuff like super glue or anything like that, because that's not a true 2 megapop scenario. I've really forgotten now. Anyways, back to the topic of hand of snow. Snow is, nowadays, my least favorite weather. It is cold, and also the fact that it's just so annoying to try and travel through, really. We now have more range with the better invisibility potion, which means now we can reach more over here and over here. If you have the proper footwear, then yes, snow is not the biggest issue, but it's just the inconvenience of it. Having to dress up, ensuring that you are clothed up as much as possible, go out for your day-to-day chores, jobs, and stuff like that. It's just such an inconvenience, snow is. But on the other end of the spectrum, my favorite weather's got to be not black clouds, not raining, but just overcast. I'm not a huge fan of the sun, to be honest. It's really glaring, and because of where I'm situated in the house, it means that at every single fragment of the day when the sun is out, it is constantly exposed to my room. So I don't get any protection of it because of where my house, well, where my room is in contrast to the house. Round 90, this is where the MIB comes into play here. Otherwise, we would be clutching on straws and hoping all these grapes hit the DDTs. Some of the balloons are making it quite far through the track, but our upgrade is still not yet over when it comes to our villages and our engineer up here. Once they are fully upgraded, then our chances of being able to destroy all the balloons will become much, much more potent. Hook in 3 of the DDTs because they are annoying. Anyone want a pizza? We can now start doing those fat stacks of ultra boosts. We have it at our disposal, and what a truly magnificent specimen you are with all your tech. What is the best futuristic tech looking monkey out there in the entire game? You've got the anti-balloon, you've got the ultra boost, you've got other ones which I can't quite remember off the top of my head. Cyber Quincy, you've got the Mad, you've got all these different futuristic tech looking not balloons, towers. So which one is your personal favorite when it comes to the future techy looking ones? Legend of the Night doesn't really count. I feel like the true sun god is primordial in the past sort of thing, because of like monkeys in the past of this game always worshipping gods, as in like the true sun god, the sun temples. You must always remain true to your overlord, or else you will be sacrificed by Adora, and you will be fed to power her up. And you don't want that. You want to survive and continue popping balloons, don't you now? Anyways, round 98. The most difficult round within the first, well, 95 rounds of this chimp scenario. We are times 7 in our ultra boost stacking. We will soon have call to arms. And round 98. Let's just hook in the rest of them. And our shop is complete. Still, I don't feel like any of the other items are kind of necessary right about now. Like, we don't need the Jerry's file or the sharpening stone. Like, they can be put down. And I'm not really a big fan of pickles as well. Like, I don't think they're going to help us. Moreover, they're going to reduce our damage output because our cannons are quite powerful anyway. So I feel like it's going to be more of a hindrance to put down a beloved pickles. Times 10 ultra boost, the most that you can stack on a single balloon. I wonder if there's a mod out there that is going to like not just times 10, but like times 1 quadrillion. Imagine the fire rate or something like that. That would probably be equivalent to the quantum entanglement bug that we faced. Excuse me? Game? This is supposed to be all powerful. I suppose we will have to put some on them. Put everything on. Oh dearie me, we lost on round 103. I did not expect that actually. I expected this to be a flawless run. But I guess some things are just not that flawless when it comes to these super fortified ceramics. I hope this is not going to be an issue later on, because I really want to get homeland defense before we put down any glues. But I suppose quarter arms only last for so long that that would be an inevitability. With extremely fast fire rate towers, it's not the power per projectile, but how many you can fire out at a single given point in time. So it is the phrase of throw enough poop at a wall, some of it will stick. Well, throw enough projectiles and all the balloons will be deflated. Deflation. We're not doing deflation chimps. Let's do a deflation chimp sometime. Oh, crikey, another ceramic. These ceramics are annoying at the moment. Okay, I think we're finally clearing through the round, but that was honestly really annoying with that. Good. They both got 0 pops between them. If I see even a single pop, you will be sacrificed to a Dora the next time around. And I'm not joking. I will get a 2 mega pop scenario up and running, and will sacrifice 3 ultra boosts in the name of leveling up. Homeland defense is on the field, and now these DDTs do not stand a chance. I believe it's round 137 where we're going to be facing a huge number of fortified DDTs, which means we're going to need our ultra boosts and our homeland defense and our call to arms active as much as possible. Obviously with homeland defense and call to arms, they don't stack on top of one another because both effects don't stack, I believe. Oh my goodness sakes, we're struggling. What the? Are you okay? Is there something up with you that I need to address? Or are you going to be fine? I guess now it is a time where we need to put down some glue gunners. Well, honestly, I was doing some test runs and I did not struggle in this whatsoever. No round 103 failure or the one before this one, but crikey, what's going on here? I like to do test runs so that I know that with my current capabilities at the game, that a particular scenario is possible. Otherwise, I might just sit there for hours on end with hours of unusable recordings. Or people may think that the unusable bits of recordings is just as important as the successful bits of recording. So yeah, let's just stick with this. Let's put down a few relentless glues. One over here, and obviously I put the other one over there, over here, yes. But that was really odd. Like, why are those ceramics so evasive from our attacks? Maybe it's just simply because we don't have any glue gunners down, and that is the sheer reason as to why. As to why my sanity is dropping and dropping. Hey, we're quarter of the way there to, well, over a quarter of the way there to 23 mega pops. We already got homeland defense down, so the first 3 upgrades of this particular village are completely useless. But it's the call to arms that I really desire. Once homeland defense goes away, then I want the call to arms. It's not going to be 100% uptime though, but we should be able to cover like 90% of the time in which either one or the other are active. But if you have a energizer down or monkey knowledge point which reduces global abilities, or both put together actually, then you only really need one and the other, rather than 2 call to arms and 1 homeland defense to get a 100% uptime. Speaking of homeland defense, oh my god, look at the amount of projectiles coming out. There's just so many of them, but it feels like at times that the Buccaneer forgets that it has 2 sides to it, and it can fire cannons, grapes, and darts from both sides. Round 119. 3 regular BADs to deflate down. Well, I'm even more powerful than I was on round 100, so you should... Yeah, I think that was an easier time than it was on round 100, because now we've got both Homeland Defense and times 10 Ultra Boost. Get that in... Wait. How? How did you do that, Geraldo? Oh, that is so annoying. How did you get those 18 pops?
I've been waiting for
Oh gosh, it is bad, isn't it?
there you are.
How did you do that, though? You shouldn't be able to attack it. That is so annoying, Ninja Kiwi. When obviously Geraldo's line of sight is blocked, but obviously it can still attack. That is so unfair. Okay, you didn't get any pops this time. I am very weary though, and I do wonder though that if it's in the blinkest of moments when a balloon has been grappled by the Pirate Lord, that is when Geraldo is probably able to attack, because when something is grappled, it kind of removes all obstacles and can briefly be attacked. So maybe when a BAD or ZOMGs and stuff like that are up here, do not at any given point in time pop or hook in any of the MOAB class balloons up there. But that is really odd. Why can towers do that when their line of sight is obviously blocked? I understand with creepy idols, because they get chucked back at times and then they can ignore lines of sight when they are floating back to their original, or to the position which they are going towards. But that is really weird on how that is a thing. I'm glad that happened on round 119, otherwise we'd have to restart this entire challenge over again and reconsider Geraldo's displacement, because that is so bizarre. What isn't bizarro is call to arms. Sorry, bizarre. Bizarro. It's what happens when you combine Geraldo and Bizarro. Or Bizardo. Anyways, we're on round 123. Just 17 more rounds to go. Yes, just 17 more rounds to go. So combining call to arms with Homeland Defense to a maximum uptime, we hope to be able to get as much uptime as possible. Oh gosh, I am still paranoid about that, by the way. And because of the fact that the engineer's kind of looking this way, I don't think there's enough time to swing around and be able to pop any potential balloons anyways. Last but certainly not least, we are placing down a glue storm at some point for that little bit of extra damage on all affected balloons. I know it's only +2, but because of the amount of projectiles that our Pirate Lord fires out, that +2 from every attack will stack up, and it will stack up very well. Lots and lots of DDTs, and I have just as many projectiles as there are DDTs. Traveling by bicycle can also be a bit of a struggle when it comes to the snow. Like, not all people have tires that are able to be put on bicycles in which to combat the snow's otherwise slippery properties. This round, once again, I'm kind of seeing an issue with ceramics. MOABs are not our biggest issue here, but the ceramics inside them are. So much fire rate is required to try and pop all of them. But alas, we are all in this in the long run. Because do you know why we're in this in the long run? Because we have ourselves 135 rounds of pure, unadulterated content and love and passion and other words that are positive in which you can describe this scenario. I wouldn't say that this particular scenario is sexy at all. And probably some people raised an eyebrow as to why I said that. And, well, I don't even know myself, to be honest. But we do have a huge bunch of ZOMGs here to deal with. And a Homeland Defense to help us out. alongside a glue storm now to really help us out. Always go with bottom path nowadays if you want that 2 megapop support, because you'll be able to both stick to the balloons for even longer and they go even slower than usual. And also the fact that now in update 39 they're able to stick to MOABs, whereas before the only way you could stick to MOABs is by having corrosive glue, and that didn't really make any sense, to be honest. So lovely quality of life change, which I hope Ninja Kiwi never revokes. It says, nah, this is too powerful, we're going to change it back so that you have to have corrosive glue. Like, I mean, probably the most controversial change that they ever made is by putting a limit on the number of paragons that you can have in free play. So let's say if you want to just settle down on Monkey Meadow, regardless of the mode, you are always subjected to the artificial difficulty of a limited number of paragons. It used to be 3, but then it's like, okay, there's a 4-player limit, so therefore one person wouldn't be able to get a paragon, so they increased it to 4, and then they took that limit off from free play mode. So let's say easy standard Monkey Meadows, you can now build all the paragons that you ever want, which I think is the correct decision to make to go back on. There's nothing worse than riding up the huge majority of the community, and that's why Ninja Kiwi backpedaled on that change and only put it on boss events, which is the correct way to implement something when it's on a limited time event and when it's not a universal rule to every single mode regardless of what it is. Like, having something universal in place which is that controversial is a no good. So when it came to it, when it's only down to bosses or challenge events, then that is the correct way of implementing a limit to the paragons. But not every single facet of the game benefits from that limit. And Ninja Kiwi's thought process is so that paragons can have unique synergies with one another. But I'm like, you can still have the unique synergies, but it's just the fact that you thought that having a limit would help you create those synergies, where I felt, well, you would actually hinder the synergies because you only have a limited number of other paragons which you can create a synergy with. So imagine, let's say, if every single tower gets a paragon, then you can have as many different synergies as you can. Nobody loses at the end of the day, except the programming team that probably has a few years off their lifespan. But honestly, Ninja Kiwi was so reflective with their thought process behind why they made that change in the first place, and I have nothing but the utmost respect for them for being so transparent, because not all game developers are very transparent. Like, some double down on their stupid decision making and just say, you know what, we're just gonna stick with this regardless of what anybody else says, regardless of what people say. We're gonna stick with this decision because we know what's best for our game. And that honestly is a very shallow mindset to uphold, because of the fact that you don't take community feedback very well. You know what, we're just gonna get pinned because we can now. Don't have to worry about any more costs whatsoever. We're gonna keep homeland defense. We want this to a Fortified BAD for around 140. And speaking of which, let's use glue store. You better not attack you. I'm watching you very closely, Geraldo. You better not attack a single ounce on this Fortified BAD. Otherwise, we're gonna have to restart this entire round again. You're at 0. Stay at 0. Do not get a single pot, please, because that is irritating. It's just one thing I'm like, you better not do it. You better not do it. I'm watching you. You better not do it. Not one chance, okay? Not a single... I thought you were facing down there for a second. Right, last Ultra Boost. Let's hook in those DDTs. They cannot be allowed to reach the exit of the map. Oh gosh, we're very close here. but we have secured it in the bag. That is every single damage done by one tower. Our monkey star is the pirate lord. So that, folks, is 23 megapops, round 140 all pops. I know that was a bit of a mouthful there, but that was honestly a very interesting challenge. So the pirate lord is definitely one of the most underpriced tier 5s, what you can do with it. But then again, you probably could say that about a lot of other kind of towers involved. Like, once you ultra boost it, once you get a homeland defense for it, you could say that their value can kind of be low because of what you're doing to it. So thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what other kind of videos you'd like to see me do in the future. Someone wants me to do a 2TC with Arcane Spike. How do we go about doing that? There's a thing called purples. I suppose we can use something like a middle path ace, or even like a top path ace could be viable, but then you still run into the issue of round 59 camo leads. Once you get Sky Shredder though, that's fine, but it's just the path to get to that point. Thank you all so much for watching, and take care of yourselves, everybody.